We have some breaking news that we want to share with you. We are learning more about that small plane that has crashed into a San Diego neighborhood. Officials say about 15 homes, and now you are looking at those homes that were impacted when this plane crashed into this neighborhood. We know about 15 homes have been impacted. Look at the damage at that home and just look at that street with all the debris there that you can see as well. That appears to be a part of the plane, perhaps a door, as we are looking at this right in the middle of, a local neighborhood. And it was at 6 a.m. Let's get to CNN's Polo Sandoval. This is a very early time there in San Diego when all of this happened. Certainly people at home. Do we know of any injuries or deaths at this point?
Not quite, Sarah. In the next few minutes, we do expect to hear from officials as they are expected to host a press conference to hopefully update us on what we know about this very early morning small plane crash that occurred. It's going to be just northeast of San Diego. And to your point, Sarah, these are just harrowing images where you see the charred remains of vehicles on a suburban street. And I think it's important to really just appreciate just a sense of what the potential impact here. While we wait to hear more about any potential injuries or worse, what we know at this point, coming straight from San Diego authorities, that this small plane crashed in the Murphy Canyon neighborhood. Nearby, there are a lot of military neighborhoods, according to what we're seeing and hearing from those on the ground. And we do know that as many as 15 homes, according to the assistant fire chief, may have been affected. Now, whether or not to this extent that you see here, that's yet to be determined. But when you just see what took place on this street corner alone, and these large pickup trucks and large vehicles essentially tossed around and then charred, that certainly gives you a sense of perhaps the force of this impact. Again, this was a small private plane, according to what we have heard so far, possibly a Cessna model. And we do know, again, that there were at least 3 streets that are being evacuated there. And also interesting, in the last 30 minutes, the San Diego Police Department put out a social media post asking for anybody in the neighborhood to call their non-emergency number if they smell any fuel, any sort of jet fuel, or if they see any debris at in their property. So that also gives you a sense that investigators right now are basically spanning out in all directions, trying to recover any evidence. It could be telling as to what may have led to this plane crash. But again, still no word on any injuries or worse after the small plane crashed in the middle of a San Diego neighborhood very early this morning.
That small plane that crashed in a neighborhood in San Diego, a news conference with experts right now underway. Let's listen in.
It was here to give you more information. Dan Eddy, San Diego Fire. So crews arrived on scene. The initial crews that found multiple houses and cars on fire. We had reports of a plane that had crashed in the neighborhood. It was unknown whether it was a military or a private plane. When they got on scene, they initiated quick attack of the fire and upgraded this to what we call an Alert 5, which is a plane off the field, followed by a second alarm, so we had enough units on scene. We were able to work with San Diego PD, evacuate homes across the region as we came through here and evacuate everything to the south of us. We were able to knock down those fires. At this time right now, we were able to say that no one was transported from the scene. So we don't have anybody that was transported off the scene, which is great news for us on this one. Fire was knocked down. We do have one stubborn car fire that will not go out to the south of us. So if you do see little wisps of smoke behind there, that's what that's from. At this time, we're continuing to fight the fire on that car fire. Everything else is out from the homes down the way. We have multiple crews that will be on scene doing decon and investigating. FAA is also on scene, and we're working in conjunction with them and San Diego PD to ensure that everything is searched, including the homes and everything that is involved with the planes itself. We expect to be out here for 4 to 6 hours at least doing the investigation part of it until we pass it along. And then moving forward, we'll probably be here through the rest of the 24-hour period. I'm going to pass it off to Police Chief Scott Wall.
Good morning. First, I want to start by saying our heartfelt condolences to the families that are impacted by this terrible incident. From the police department side, our objectives were very simple: scene control, traffic control, and evacuations. We had officers from throughout the city that responded. We had over 50 officers that were able to get here within minutes. We started evacuating all of the homes that were impacted. We had an evacuation center up at Miller Elementary. We have close to 100 people that have been displaced and are up there. We've locked all the streets down. Essentially, Santo Road, south of Arrow, is still closed and will be for the next few hours and on into the day. And we're going to continue working collaboratively. I want to commend all of the first responders that were out here this morning: the fire department, the police department. I can't quite put words to describe what this scene looks like. But with the jet fuel going down the street and everything on fire all at once, it was pretty horrific to see. And for the police officers and firefighters to run in there, start trying to evacuate people out of the way and doing anything and everything they could to try to save somebody's life is really heroic. And again, I'm going to end with saying heartfelt condolences to the families that were impacted by this. And with that, let me introduce Mayor Todd Gloria.
Thank you, Chief. I also want to extend the condolences of the city of San Diego to the passengers aboard the plane's families on the ground. We will be continuing to keep you all posted throughout the day as more information becomes available. But what I can tell you right now is that we have had an extraordinary response effort here, led by the San Diego Fire Rescue Department, San Diego Police Department. But what you've seen is a collaborative effort with county, state, and federal partners, as well as our partners in the community. As we have representation here from the Red Cross, the San Diego Humane Society, and other key partners that are making sure that those who are impacted here on the ground have the support they need. And that's what I want to say is that our city will be supporting these families who are impacted here. They're part of the military community that makes up our city, the proud partners of our community. And we will support them for as long as it takes to make sure that we get back to good here in Tierra-Sana. Appreciate the early communication from Navy Region Southwest and Admiral Brad Rosen, who's an extraordinary partner for our city. I also want to note Councilmember Raul Campillo is monitoring the situation very, very closely. He'll be out here later today. But we're all going to band together and make sure that this situation is buttoned up. Again, extraordinary effort by our first responders. I can't emphasize that enough. The limitation in terms of the additional damage on the ground is a direct result of their hard work, of their expertise, of their professionalism. And I think every San Diegan expresses our appreciation to these heroes who got the job done this morning. It's still a tragedy. And again, our hearts are with those who are impacted. We'll continue to be here throughout this response effort, make sure, again, the families who are impacted, those who are not able to access their homes, are well supported until they're able to get back into their homes. That said, as I mentioned, this has been a collaborative effort. We are on military property. These are military families, military housing, and here on behalf of Navy Region Southwest is the commanding officer for Naval Base Captain Bob Healy. Captain Healy.
All right, there you heard officials in San Diego giving an update on that small plane crash in the neighborhood there. I mean, the images are just incredible. You saw homes and cars scorched from that plane crash, but they did say that no one was transported from the scene. It's still certainly a devastation there. I mean, people had to be evacuated from their homes. A lot of them members of the military. Wolf, my husband lived just a mile from there when he was in the military. I mean, that is where a lot of military members live. But as you see here, you know, first responders had to act quick this morning. There was jet fuel, they described, just going down the street. They had to put out the fires. They said there's one stubborn fire still going on right now in one of the cars, but again, no one transported from the scene.
I can only imagine what it would be like. You're home, and all of a sudden the plane crashes. Look at that roof. Look at that roof destroyed. Plane crashes into your home.
Horrific.
Terrible situation indeed. We'll stay on top of the story.
This is Eyewitness News with live breaking news.
I'm Philip Palmer, and we are breaking into streaming coverage right now because we want to bring you live images of the deadly plane crash that is in San Diego. This is Air 7. We're getting our first live look from the air after the plane plowed into a San Diego neighborhood this morning. Now, we told you about this earlier this morning on our streaming broadcast at 8 a.m., but you can see the destruction here. This is our camera. You can see some of the images here. Officials do say a number of people have died. The fatalities are believed to all be on board the plane. As of right now, it does not appear anyone on the ground was killed in this plane crash. But again, we have a little bit more information as to what happened here. The plane, the jet, is commonly used for business travel. It can carry up to 8 to 10 people on board. We do know that the NTSB, the FAA are on scene investigating the crash. This is a military housing complex here. We're told, but the Associated Press was told that it was foggy at the time that this jet crashed. You could barely see in front of you. We're not saying that that is the cause of this crash. It is very near the airport, but visibility had gotten down to about a half a mile low clouds, according to weather data. There was a news conference earlier. They did say that more than one fatality was on that plane. But again, we do not know how many people were on that plane. Recently, some of the new information that we're getting from FlightAware was that the plane originated on the East Coast. It had stopped in Wichita to refuel and had been in Wichita for about an hour and then took off. Now, at some point, it crashed and hit up to about 10 homes that were affected. The amazing part of this, that is one of the homes that was deeply affected by this. At one point, you saw jet fuel that had come from the plane as it crashed and just set the street on fire. A lot of the cars were on fire, we're told from witnesses. So the cars were primarily on fire. Amazingly, it appears as if everyone that was on the ground, this happened about 3:45 this morning, it appears as if everyone on the ground was able to safely evacuate. A lot of people that lived in this neighborhood went knocking on the doors to get people to get out of there. We've seen video captured by neighborhood residents who saw flames, and they captured video of all these cars on fire. That person had told of a boom that woke people up, and he was knocking on doors and getting people out. We've been quoted. There was a commanding officer of the naval base in San Diego said that the neighborhood is one of the largest military housing units in the world. So a lot of military families will be impacted by this. That is the area that you're seeing there. So this is a military community that are going to be deeply affected by this. Again, the most recent information that we're getting that is new as of this update is that according to FlightAware, this citation took off from Teterboro Airport just outside of New York City, stopped in Wichita, Kansas for about an hour to fuel up, then took off. The pilot announced on the radio that the plane was about 3 miles from a planned landing at Montgomery Gibbs Executive Airport, but there was no sign of any problem. No emergency was declared. The airport does have a control tower. It was not staffed in the overnight hours, so the pilots basically announced their intentions to other pilots listening on what's called common traffic advisory frequency. So no planned emergency, but again, we're under the impression that visibility was low at this point. So that is going to be something that's investigated. But you're seeing from these live images the devastation in this neighborhood. It is quite amazing there's not more damage to homes. Some homes do have damage, but we are under the impression that as it landed, witnesses talk about the jet fuel from the Cessna just was on fire through that neighborhood. And I've not seen from our camera wreckage of the plane at this point. I've been reading some of our notes here. So the plane likely went into that house there. So it does look as if the plane wreckage mostly is in that house, but there will be FAA, NTSB that are going to be investigating this. It will develop throughout the story, but if you notice, there's not a lot of activity as far as people. They're not gathered about looking around because most of them evacuated. Early hours, 3:45 this morning, they evacuated. We're going to try to connect with our crew that is in the helicopter. We do have Marcel Melanson there, so we're going to try to talk to him later on this morning. Eyewitness News at 11 a.m. We'll continue to keep following this. We'll continue to see what we can find out. We refueled down there about 3 minutes away from this, so there is an airport for us very near there. So we're just now getting above this scene. We wanted to break into our stream to try to get you these images as quickly as we can. And as we're looking, you can see that the cars that would have been parked in the street have been knocked about. And so I do believe we have Marcel now. And Marcel has also a background with LA County Fire. So he's going to know a little bit about how the response would have been from a firefighting perspective, from a first responder perspective, and what they're going to be doing in these hours after something like this happened. And Marcel, having been able to refuel, knowing where the airport is, I mean, what is your first take as you come over this scene and see this from a first responder's perspective?
Philip, first thing I could say is just devastating, right? At 3 a.m., a plane comes into a number of houses. I'm going to tilt up a bit. You can see here's the airfield. So it was on the approach path to this airfield, and just short of the airfield is where this accident occurred. And San Diego Fire, first units responded and got on scene within minutes. So they were dealt with a number of problems that they were, it's a dual-pronged approach here. You have fire, you have a plane crash. You also have the rescue attempt for the people in these houses, because at that time of morning you would figure people would be home asleep. So you have to put the fire out, you have to have a coordinated effort to do rescues that are needed, and as well as the devastation, the way it looks like it's spread down the street here, it looks like the fuel was probably running down the street, just catching these cars on fire as it came into contact with it. So it's a complete city block where you have strewn across this whole area. And their initial response was about 130 firefighters, a third alarm from San Diego Fire and Rescue. So they had a number of specialized resources on scene for an aircraft approach or aircraft crash, as well as a normal structure firefighting force, and as well as paramedics and things like that.
Well, Marcel, we're going to have to break away because we do have to do a couple of things for ABC7. I did notice at the end of the street, it looked like they had a barrier across the street almost to stop fuel from advancing along. That would be a hazmat spill. That right there, it looks like, you mentioned fuel going all the way. So that too, when you think about fuel, you have a hazmat situation as well. So we're going to break away from these live images. Marcel, thank you very much.